WATD presents John Paul, the Car Doctor. All things automotive. Have questions? Call or text 781-837-4900. Now, here's John Paul, the Car Doctor.
And good Sunday morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Car Doctor program on 95.9 WATD. My name is John Paul, the Car Doctor, here to help you with your car problems on this Sunday morning, and not just car problems. Try to help you with all different kinds of problems. Today, we're going to be reviewing the Nissan Kicks, a small SUV, and coming up in the next couple weeks, next Sunday, we're going to be talking with Bob Tasker III, Tasker Ford, legendary Ford dealership. His grandfather was instrumental working with Ford Motor Company in their racing. In fact, I think his grandfather invented the Taurus SHO. We'll talk to Bob about that. And also, Bob Tasker, an American funny car driver. He's the first drag racer to break 340 miles an hour in a wheel-driven funny car. So we'll talk to him next week. So we got a lot of things going on. One of the things that bothers me, and I think it's bothered me forever, but has bothered me as I get older, is solar sensitivity, I guess, is maybe a way to kind of talk about that. You know, my ability to be out in bright sun just sort of bothers me. When I was young, I would buy, sunglasses at the cheapest department store I could find them. And since then, I've tried to do a little bit better with my choices of sunglasses. I think years and years ago, I bought a pair of Ray-Ban aviators, which, if you know me, I'm not a style person, but aviators in and out of style, I suppose. But I still think I have them. But with us on the phone is Dylan Coates and Steve Vaughn, both from iKing, and they're here to talk about some sunglasses that they're responsible for through the Hobie name and the Salt Life name. Dylan, Steven, good morning, and welcome to the Car Doctor program.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, there we go. Okay, we're both there. That's good. First off, let's start with Dylan. Tell us who you are, what you do, and then we'll go over to Steven and ask him who he is and what he does.
Yeah, so I'm the marketing manager with iKing, and, as you mentioned, we have two large brands, Hobie Eyewear, Salt Life Eyewear, that we're the licensees for. We do some private label stuff, some other brands as well, but those are the two main ones that command the majority of our focus that, we have out in the market. Both great pairs of sunglasses for being out on the water, all polarized, great for the outdoors, great for driving, and just, like you said, very important to make sure you have a good quality pair of eyewear. And
I didn't know much about Salt Life other than, I had to put a Salt Life sticker on the back of my car. But, other than that, I wasn't really that familiar with Salt Life, but their name is tied to quite a few different brands now. And Stephen, tell us who you are and what you do with iKing.
Yeah, hi. So my name is Stephen Vaughn. I'm the director of product development for iKing. Been there for 18 years so far. So I've gotten to enjoy making glasses for both brands for quite some time. The Salt Life collection actually just came out 2 months ago, so we're really excited about it. But it's really taken off right out of the gate, which is very exciting.
Yeah. How can, I mentioned that, sunglasses to me aren't cosmetic, although a lot of people, wear sunglasses for fashion or whatever reason it is. I need to wear them when I'm outdoors, if I'm doing work outside, if I'm trying to enjoy myself outside. How important is it to have good quality sunglasses, and what goes into making good sunglasses?
So there's a lot of things. First of all, something like sunglasses is always a balance between fashion and function. You'll have people who wear them. Well, let me step back. They all serve the same one purpose, which is to protect your eyes from the sun. And sunglasses are actually listed, I think it's by the FDA, as a medical device because of that reason. And but then, like for the individual wearer and the different circumstances, it really comes down to: are you looking more for a look, but don't care as much about the features and the lens tint and all that, or are you looking for performance first, fashion second? Both of our collections are a balance of both, and we have a lifestyle component and a performance component to both. But they all perform extremely well and protect your eyes against harmful UV rays, and both collections are all polarized, so they also protect against harmful and tiresome glare.
Well, that's a really good point. And I remember once buying I guess, middle-of-the-road price sunglasses, but I made the mistake of buying lenses that were way too dark. And I thought, well, I'm going to be out in the bright sun. I should have really dark lenses. And they literally made me feel paranoid. Lens color is really important, right?
Yeah, so that's also there's certain science behind it, but it's also personal preference. So our lens colors in both brands can be broken down into two categories. You have your gray-based lenses, which tend to be darker. So you can have like gray or gray with a blue mirror. The blue mirror will cut a little additional light, but it's also an aesthetic choice. Some people like the mirror, some don't. And then the other family is our copper or brown lenses, and those are a lighter color tint. I find them to be very soothing on the eyes. So like in your situation, if you wore a copper lens, you probably would have enjoyed that a lot more. And then we have copper with a green mirror. And again, that can also cut a little bit of additional light, but it's also largely an aesthetic choice. And then in particular in our Hobie brand, we have what's called our Sightmaster Plus lens. That's more of a fishing specific lens. And for anyone who looks us up after, we hope, looks us up after listening to this show, if you see the Sightmaster lens, just please be aware, especially for the audience here, that one is not meant for driving because it's a very yellow tint and it could potentially wash out yellow lights when you're approaching a traffic light.
And, that's something that I think a lot of people get. Maybe they see that you talk about yellow lenses, that they think, yellow lenses are going to improve my night driving, and yellow lenses are going to do this, and yellow lenses are going to do that. But the reality of it is whenever you block light to your eye, you're also, to some extent, blocking vision. So except for the song Sunglasses at Night, sunglasses made for the daytime, right?
Yeah, I would say I wouldn't recommend wearing any kind of tint in the evening.
Yeah. How about for people that I have a friend and she wears prescription glasses and she tends to, wear her sunglasses sometimes over her prescription glasses if she's reading or something. Do you guys, are either the Hobie or Salt Life glasses, are they available as prescriptions like readers or, in fact, glasses that are designed for everyday use for distance, that type of thing?
Yep. Yeah, so we have three different solutions, really. The Salt Life collection right now is regular sun lenses, but like speaking Hobies for the moment. In our Hobie collection, you can either get your prescription put in I think almost all of our frames with one or two exceptions. And that's just taking the lenses, going to your doctor, or we have an online partner, and you can get your prescription put in there. The other option is we do have a few reader options in our collection. We have a lifestyle frame and a sport wrap frame called Everglades. And then the third solution, which is my favorite, and as the product manager, it's funny, I want to wear all our sunglasses, but I end up wearing just these because the system is perfect for me, is I'm a prescription eyewear wearer. We have a collection called Duo. We have three different frame styles, and then they have matching clips. So not fit overs, not these universal clips that look kind of awkward with glasses, create a lot of reflection in between. And this is a magnetic polarized clip-on system. And the way it works is I have my Duo frames. I wear the one called Lennox. And that's my everyday, all-day glasses. I wear them in the office. I wear them when I'm driving. But the minute, I'm out in the sun, I just pick up one of my clips, and it clicks on instantly. I mean, you can put these on in half a second, and you have polarized glasses. And it's far less expensive than getting a polarized prescription, because a polarized prescription, first of all, costs a ton of money. But then now, like, okay, you have that prescription, but you still need indoor glasses. And then what if it's lighter out or not as bright out? So with the Duo collection, all 5 of those lenses I mentioned before are available in each of the 3 frames. So, and they're really inexpensive. They're like $40 or $50 for each clip. But now it gives you, like, you could have up to 6 glasses in one. You can have your indoor glasses plus up to 5 different lens tints for the outdoors. So that's the one that I recommend the most because I am truly a customer of that product, and it's just fantastic. The other day, I was coming home from work and it was pouring out, and then suddenly the rain stopped. But it was one of those ones where the sun immediately came out afterwards, and I was heading west, so the glare was absolutely blinding. And I just popped the clip on, and in 2 seconds, I was like instantly soothed, and my eyes were relaxed again.
We talk about polarized glasses a lot. Do you? And I know these are very, very specialized, and I should have done a little research first. Do you offer any sunglasses that are not polarized?
In the 2 collections, Hobie and Salt Life, both brands are based around the water lifestyle. Yep. So in these particular brands, we chose to do all polarized because of the nature of the activities that people would likely be doing. But polarized glasses are fantastic in all conditions. And like I said, even that one driving, if I didn't put polarized lenses on, that glare still would have been hitting me. I would have had a little less sunlight getting through, but the obnoxious and fatiguing glare still would have been there. But like we've done other brands in the past, and in those cases we'll do a mix because maybe people don't want polarized in all situations.
Yeah, the only time I've run into an issue with polarized glasses is some infotainment screens will sometimes wash out with polarized lenses, and even some driver monitor systems, if you're wearing polarized lenses, for want of a better word, the spy camera that keeps an eye on you in some of these new cars will actually come up that the camera is blocked because of the polarized glasses, which is just one of those weird things, and just about that. So, what is the difference? And maybe this is a better question for Steve. Well, maybe it's a better question for Dylan. What's the difference between Hobie and Salt Life? I mean, they both seem like very good quality sunglasses to me.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be able to take that one. So with Hobie eyewear, it's been around since 1982, which a lot of people don't realize. It was one of the first polarized brands on the market. And really, with Hobie, you're going to find the most value in a pair of sunglasses out there in the market. The amount of technology and the premium quality that we offer with that brand is going to feel like it should be a $200-300 sunglass. But it's only around $80 to $120, depending on which frames you're getting. So you get everything that you get with those high-end brands that you get with Hobie, plus a lifetime warranty, and not to mention some, technological features that other brands don't offer. What we say with Hobie is, much like Hobie Alter, who started the Hobie brand, he was always trying to find solutions for challenges faced on the water. And we've taken that same innovative spirit within the eyewear line as well. So if you run into any type of challenge with sunglasses on the water, the biggest example I'll give you is how many times have you lost a pair of sunglasses out on the water when you're leaning over the boat or, you hit a wave or something like that? We offer a line of floating sunglasses. So right away, that takes care of that problem. You don't lose your sunglasses in the water anymore when you drop them overboard, and you're not wasting, all that money that you spent on a good quality pair of sunglasses. They're going to stay with you. So that's really what you see in the Hobie eyewear line. Like I said, it's the most value you're going to find from any premium brand out there in the market. With Salt Life, the quality, while not on par with Hobie, is still very good. That is an all $40 price point, all polarized brand. However, the sunglasses, they don't feel like they should be $40. Like when Steve first developed the line and he showed them to me, I was like, Steve, these feel like they should be more like $70 or $80 sunglasses. So you are still getting an insane amount of value with that brand as well, as well as a lot of different, kind of like fashion or more fun looking style choices there. But both brands, excellent for being out on the water, excellent for being outdoors. You have a lot to choose from. And you're going to find a lot of value with both of them.
Yeah, I mean the idea that they float, and I will tell you a story that I don't. Jesse will say I'm embarrassing him because of this. The Oakley sunglasses I found when I was swimming, and someone must have lost them off a boat or something. And I'm like, oh, these look like pretty good glasses. And then I ordered a set of lenses for them, and the frames are nice. And I'm like, but I don't know that I would spend. I think they were Holbrooks, and they're a couple $100, something that I wouldn't typically spend. And when I compare them to some of yours, I'm like, they look pretty similar for about half the price.
Yeah, no, that's correct. And we always say if you haven't lost a pair of glasses on the water, you haven't spent enough time out there. So anyone that owns a boat or likes going out there, I'm sure has experienced that same story that you said. And fortunately, you were the one to find the glasses, but someone else did lose them.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing I noticed, and maybe it's just me, the other thing I noticed is salt spray seems to clean up pretty quick with them.
Yeah, so all of our Hobie lenses, they have a Hydro Clean 360 coating. So that repels, like sunscreen, oils, water, any kind of gunk that you would have face out on the water. Simply just take the microfiber cloth that we include with each sunglass, and it just wipes right off the lenses, so they're going to stay clear. So that is definitely an added bonus that you get with the Hobie eyewear line. That's one of those premium features.
And that's one of the things I notice when I'm in my car, and because I'm taking my sunglasses on and off a lot, taking them on and off a lot, but I really need, especially spring and fall when the sun's lower in the horizon, and, all of a sudden, like Steven said, you hit that time of day sometimes where all of a sudden the sun is just right in your windshield, and you're grabbing for your glasses, and there's nothing worse than grabbing a pair of sunglasses that are dirty, and these seem to clean up really quick, which is nice. We're talking about working outside, and sometimes you're actually doing physical work outside, and you want to wear eyeglasses and sunglasses specifically. Tell us about are these glasses recognized as being shatterproof?
So all of our lenses meet a certain minimum impact standard by law to even bring them into the market. But we do have, in particular, a style called Everglade. So I mentioned that one before, that we also have readers with that, but those are ANSI readers. So ANSI is, I forget, it's like American National Standards Institute. But Z87, people who work on job sites will be familiar with that. And those are safety rated, and those are like OSHA approved for working on like a construction site or working in a factory and so on. And that one is available in all most of the lens tints that I mentioned, and also a clear and a yellow lens, like a shooting lens.
We were talking about Hobie before, and I only know the Hobie name from kayaks, but some of these sunglasses are made from recycled kayaks, right?
Yes, so we launched that collection last year, and technically the term is called upcycled. So recycled is when you're done using any type of material, you go and you recycle it, it gets broken down, it gets used again. Upcycled is actually taking excess material from a manufacturing process. So in this case, it's the Hobie kayaks. There's some excess plastic that gets shaved off of the hulls of the kayak. And we found a way to take that, grind it down, and turn it into floating sunglasses made 100% from the Hobie kayak plastic. So, and then those float as well. So that's how we came up with the upcycled collection. So last year we launched Hull Float, which is more of kind of your wrap sport frame. And this year we launched Hatch Float, which is more of a lifestyle shaped frame, kind of similar to looking to maybe like those Holbrooks you mentioned earlier. But both of those pairs, like I said, are part of that upcycle collection. They are made from the upcycled Hobie kayak plastic. They feature bio-based polarized lenses. They have all recyclable material in the packaging. And a portion of sales actually goes back to support the Fish America Foundation, which benefits conservation projects all across North America.
So, if I wear good sunglasses, will it let me catch bigger fish and be a better driver?
I mean, it's certainly going to help. As Steve mentioned, we offer a lot of different lens tints for different types of fishing. especially that Sightmaster Plus lens. A lot of the professional anglers we work with, that's their favorite lens just because, it's meant to be worn in overcast conditions. Like if you're out there early or when it's cloudy, you may think, I don't need sunglasses right now because it's too dark. You still need that eye protection because the sun's coming through the clouds. You still need the polarization to be able to see into the water and see the fish in the structure. But with that yellow-based lens, it actually brightens everything up in those conditions, and it allows you to see more where others might miss. So always important to have sunglasses on, but that one's definitely a game changer in those types of conditions out in the water.
Yeah, I drive a lot more than I boat, so I find that just having good sunglasses in the car is important. And the idea of different colors do different things, but the idea that going with a good quality is important. Like I said earlier, going with those generally inexpensive glasses that actually made me feel uncomfortable because they were too dark, and I'm saying, well, I'm driving cross country. I need really bright, I could run into really bright sun. It was a horrible mistake to make. So it is important to find the right balance of lens color and frame fit. And also frame weight is important. Between the Hobie and Salt Life frames, they're very lightweight.
Yes, very lightweight. And especially that upcycle collection made from the kayaks. We've just found with that plastic that it's even more lightweight than our regular sunglasses while still maintaining the same durability. So definitely a good one to check out if you want to, wear sunglasses and almost even forget they're on your face. They're that light.
Where do you buy them? I was at a local hardware store the other day, and they had a giant sunglass collection, which I never expected to see at a hardware store. But where do you buy Salt Life and Hobie sunglasses?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're available in a lot of different independent retailers across the country. Salt Life, we just started, as Steve said, 2 months ago, distributing that out into the market. It's on Amazon right now. They will be launching on saltlife.com shortly. But Hobie Eyewear, you can go to hobieeyewear.com. We have a dealer locator if you want to use that to find out a dealer, close by you. Or you could just buy directly from the site. Right now we have a special going on for Mother's Day. You actually get a free water bottle with any purchase. And for those listening, we are going to activate the discount code CARDOCTOR15 if you want to take 15% off your purchase. So just a nice little added benefit for listening today. But yeah, hobieeyewear.com. That's the place to go, and you can see all the different frame and lens options that we covered today.
So Car Doctor 15 is what we need to remember. So that's fantastic.
Yep.
Perfect. Well, guys, I want to thank you for taking a little time out of your Sunday and joining us. Anything else you want to fill us in before we let you go?
No, make sure you wear your sunglasses outside. It's as we've said, it's very important, and you got to keep your eyes protected.
You only have 2 of them, and you want to hold on to them, right?
Exactly.
All right. Thanks, guys. Take care and have a great rest of your weekend. Yep. Bye-bye.
You too.
We need to take a break, pay some bills. My name's John Paul. This is the Car Doctor program. If you would like to join us, our phone number is 781-837-4900, 781-837-4900. Phone lines are open. When we come back, we're going to talk about the Nissan Kicks, which does it really mean like sneakers? Is that what that means? We need to find out. No. Well, it's going to talk about the Nissan Kicks when we come back. My name's John Paul. This is the Car Doctor program. We will be right back.
Even car geeks and do-it-yourselfers rely on AAA to give them extra peace of mind on the road. AAA offers 24/7 roadside assistance, whether you're in your own vehicle, a friend's car, or even a rental. Combine that with great rates on insurance, hotel, gas, and dining savings, and discounts on 8,700 brands, and you're covered on and off the road. Get a special membership offer today at aaa.com/join. That's aaa.com/join.
Is it a stroke? Even if you're not sure, act fast and call 911. Signs can include face drooping on one side, arm weakness, speech difficulty, or not making sense when talking. Time is critical. A stroke requires immediate medical care, which starts as soon as the ambulance arrives. So if you see any sign of stroke, act fast and call 911. Visit mass.gov/stroke. Sponsored by the Massachusetts Department of Public Health.
Tonight is different, it's gonna be great.
Hey, I'm Ashley Jordan. Tune in to Twilight Showcase Radio, hosted by Sandy Stride and Keith James on 95.9 WATD and 95.9WATD.com. Search for Twilight Showcase Radio on Facebook and visit twilightshowcase.org.
Twilight Showcase, tonight from 8 to 10 on 95.9 WATD. Make an appointment Sunday morning at 11 for John Paul, the Car Doctor, on 95.9 WATD. Now, back to the Car Doctor.
And welcome back. Remember, our phone number 781-837-4900 is how you get through. The latest test drive is in the 2026 Nissan Kicks SR. This is an all-wheel drive kind of vehicle that reminds you why small SUVs have become sort of the family sedan. You know, it used to be station wagons, well, sedans, station wagons, minivans, SUVs. You know, it kind of reminds you why these work. So the Kicks it's practical, it's easy to drive, it's comfortable enough, it's dressed up enough so you don't feel like, especially this one, the SR version, so you don't feel like you bought the bargain option. I will admit, when I bought my Hyundai, that's all I was looking for, the bargain option. Was there some regrets? Yeah, roof rack would have been handy periodically, which it didn't come with. Better backup camera would have been nice, that kind of stuff, but it did its job. Anyway, but this is not any of that. Nissan has taken what used to be basic transportation, basically an appliance, and turned it into something with a little bit of a lifestyle and attitude. The first thing you know is the Kicks look sharp. Looks better than it ever has, in my opinion. Nissan gave it some bold lines, a wide stance, and enough attitude where it like stands out in the parking lot. When you're looking at other crossovers, I went to Home Depot yesterday, parking lot full of small SUVs, Chevy Trax, and Ford Escape, and Honda HRVs and CRVs and RAV4s, and the Kicks actually did stand out, and it stands out in a way that I don't think is going to look dated. Sometimes there's classic style, like the original Volkswagen Beetle. Style today still works. It's one of those things that still works. Some of the, BMW 8 Series from the mid-'80s doesn't work. It just looks 80s. It just doesn't hold its age very well. I think this is going to hold its age pretty well. In the SR trim, you get the two-tone roof, you get larger wheels, kind of a sporty flavor. It doesn't try too hard. It doesn't scream out, I'm trying to be sporty. It looks a little more expensive than it is. That being said, our fully loaded Kicks came in at around $35,000, so it's not cheap by any means. Inside, Nissan deserves some credit. The cabin feels modern, clean. It's laid out pretty nice. Twin screen dashboard is nice. 12-inch touchscreen, wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. They're standard, and that's kind of how it should be. You shouldn't have, in 2026, you shouldn't have to wire in your phone to anything. It should be sit there, connect, charge the way it's supposed to, all that sort of stuff. The SR trim adds sporty touches, and again, it keeps it from feeling like it was the mid-price car at the rental lot. The front seats are comfortable. Nissan uses something called zero-gravity seat design. I think people when they look at especially smaller SUVs, you're going to spend a certain amount of time in them. Find something with comfortable seats. These seats are comfortable. I think on a long drive, your back will be happy with these. Rear seat room, we had two adults in the back of this car. The other day, they found enough room, and that was with my seat pushed all the way back. They seemed okay with it. Cargo space is good. It loses some compared to some others, but I think overall cargo space is pretty good. There is no spare tire, and I don't know if it's just on the SR trim or not. There's just an inflation kit, but it looks like if you lift up the back floor covering and you took all the styrofoam dividers out, and in there's a whole bunch of empty space where you could tuck all kinds of different things, but if you took out the styrofoam and the air compressor is a little tiny thing, size of 2 coffee cups put together, and a bottle of sealer stuff. If you took that out and threw it away, and threw the styrofoam away, well, don't throw the air compressor away. It'll come in handy. But threw the styrofoam away, I think you could fit a spare tire in there, at least a compact spare tire. So I think if I bought one of these, I would want to do that. On the road, the Kicks is pleasant to drive. The 2-liter engine makes like 140 horsepower. It uses a CVT transmission, which, people love or hate. Most people don't always love them. Nissan is doing a really good job. They have them really sorted out these days. But you're never going to confuse this with the 300 horsepower hatchback. It just isn't like that. But around town, it feels light, easy going. It's quick enough. It's easy to park. Lately, I've driven some big SUVs to the point where it's like if I'm going someplace that I know is going to be crowded, I don't want to take it because it takes up too much room. Where parking's at a minimum. This park's easy. Like I said, trips to, where have I been? The only place I ever go. Home Depot, Walmart, and a hardware store. Works good for all of those. The all-wheel drive system adds real value. If you live in the Northeast or any place where the roads get slick, all-wheel drive's the way to go. I didn't price out the difference between all-wheel drive and front-wheel drive, but I noticed when I was car shopping sort of online a month or two ago, generally not a big difference. $1,200, $1,500 difference between all-wheel drive and front-wheel drive. If you think about trade-in value, especially living in the Northeast, if you decide, I'm going to get a front-wheel drive car because I never go out in the wintertime, and then you go to trade it in 4 or 5 years later, and you trade it in and they go, oh, that's front-wheel drive. We don't really have much. People want all-wheel drive. So if there's a little bit of money difference between the front wheel and all-wheel drive, probably makes sense to get the all-wheel drive. So especially, it snowed this year. So, take advantage of it. Even though I'm in Florida right now, I realize it did snow. My neighbors tell me it snowed a lot. Even on Cape Cod, it snowed a lot. I live on basically a dirt road that doesn't get plowed. The poor woman who lives next to me, fortunately, she has a Jeep, and she parked at the end of the street so she could trudge through the snow to get in her Jeep to get to her job. Anyway, ride quality is respectable, certainly. You'll feel potholes. It's a small SUV. It has to do with the short wheelbase, but it doesn't beat you up. Noise levels have been improved, though. Under hard acceleration, the engine can get a little bit noisy, and there is some road noise, but something that's pretty common in, all but the most expensive compact SUVs. With the Kicks, you get safety tech, good fuel economy, about 30 miles per gallon combined with the all-wheel drive. Modern tech, although you can always give me more buttons and less touchscreen. I'm adapting to touchscreen, I guess now, just as we're seemingly getting away from it a little bit. But I like buttons. I like radio buttons. I like to be able to just feel around for stuff. I also, as weird as it sounds, this has a legitimate shifter. So it actually has a center console mounted shifter that is mechanical. And I like that. I like that better than buttons and knobs. As much as I said, give me more buttons, I like the idea of when you put it in drive, it goes into drive. You put it in reverse, it goes in reverse. The idea of pushing a drive or a reverse button rather than a shifter, and again, maybe it's just my old age, but I kind of like it. The only upside I will say about the ones with the push button, if you shut them off, they go right back into park, so you don't forget to do that. But I like a mechanical feeling shifter. I guess I like the idea of mechanical things, and that mechanical shifter is something I like. You can, according to Nissan's website, you can buy a Kicks all-wheel drive for under $30,000. I hate to say it, under $30,000 for a new car now is getting a little bit harder to find every year. So my verdict, it's, Nissan Kicks SR. It's not flashy. It's not fast. It's not trying to impress the neighbors. But it's honest. It's useful. And it's a little bit smarter than it first appears. So certainly worth a try. And, I've been saying for months now, I'm worried about, I'll back up. I've been saying for months the idea that Nissan and Infiniti have been putting out some good products. The products seem better than the company. I'm always a little worried about the company. It looks, I just read a report the other day that Nissan is going from a projected $650 million deficit to a $650 million profit for this quarter coming up. So they're turning things around. They're closing some things down. The new management seems to be doing what they need to do to make stuff work. So good for so my concerns maybe are unfounded at this point. So if you would like to join us, and I hope you will, our phone number is 781-837-4900. What do we have for questions so far this week? We have the shark fin antenna cover on my Kia Sorento broke off due to rusty screws. Both Kia and my mechanic want to replace the whole unit. It costs hundreds of dollars. The internet says the cover can be replaced by just using epoxy. There not seems to be any other damage. Maybe I've actually seen somebody 3D print stuff like this, so maybe you can do that. The Kia parts catalog, which I went and looked through, does not show the antenna as a repairable part, which is why probably your mechanic and the dealer both want to replace it as one unit. I have seen these universal antenna covers. They attach with double-sided tape as a replacement. I don't have any experience with these, but if this was me and I didn't do my own repairs, and we'll talk about that in just a bit, I'd lean towards following the advice of your mechanic. My concern would be, you already mentioned that this one failed because the screws were rusty. So my concern would be water intrusion, which could lead to corrosion of electrical components. The cosmetic fix with epoxy may work short term. I'd be concerned that it's not going to provide a lasting seal. And where so many things are tied into the computer network, rusty, crusty wires on even something like an antenna, and that antenna does sometimes more than one thing. It's part of the communication systems with the cars sometimes. I'd be concerned about that. I think last week I mentioned that the Volkswagen we have, I was changing the oil because I've had less than stellar luck having something like a simple oil change done. Part of the reason is the Volkswagen we have is annoying at best to change the oil. There's a pan that runs under the engine. It's held on with, 18 screws, which are triple squares, which are, whoever invented triple squares what should happen to them. But a triple square is, imagine something like a Torx, but also imagine like a square drive, a square nut that you turned 90 degrees and then 90 degrees again. So you have this weird shape nut or bolt, depending on what it is. And Volkswagen is the only one, I guess maybe Volkswagen and Audi are the only one that uses triple squares. So to change the oil on this car, it requires two different size triple square drivers. So it looks like a bolt, but it also kind of looks like a Torx because the driver goes up inside of it. So two different triple size bolts. And the drain plug is Torx. So you're using a Torx drive for the drain plug, triple squares to remove the cover, which I'm doing it on ramps. So I'm under the car, kind of holding the cover up with one hand. Fortunately, I've been using quite a bit of it. The Bauer 20-volt cordless 3/8 ratchet, which made it a little bit easier to get all these fasteners off. Then when I went to go change the oil, and last year I was a little disappointed, I guess, and I didn't notice it. Last year when I changed the oil, and this car literally goes 1,000 miles a year, and Volkswagen says change the oil once a year or 10,000 miles. The poor little Volkswagen doesn't go maybe it goes a little bit more than that, but not much. I think I went to Advanced or one of those parts stores and got an oil filter. And Volkswagen's like a lot of European cars, you got to get Euro spec oil. and because it has certain additives or whatever in it, so you get the Eurospec oil. I got the oil filter, and I don't think I noticed. It sits inside a canister, and the one that I used last year didn't fit particularly well. I will admit I am not a huge Fram oil filter person. I tend to like Wix products or their parent company. I just find their products generally a pretty good fit. I don't know what kind of oil filter this was. I mean, it looked right if you looked at it. But when I took it out, I noticed it was sort of floating in the oil filter housing. So, it was floating in the filter housing. Was it really? Now, maybe once it all tightened up and it worked fine. But I noticed the replacement, which was the Wix, which was the Fram premium filter, because that's all they had on the shelf, it seemed to fit better on the holder. And when I screwed it in, and Volkswagen is very fussy about, I think it's 25 Newton meters of torque to tighten up the oil filter housing. I used I have an old beam style torque wrench from, I don't know, who knows how old. I think it's an S&K Tools torque wrench with the beam pointer style that I have here. I have a clicky style torque wrench up north. But I bought a digital converter thing from Harbor Freight. And this sounds like a Harbor Freight commercial all of a sudden, but it isn't. I bought the triple squares from Harbor Freight. They were, I think, the set, and it was it wasn't their top of the line Icon set, because I don't think they had them actually. But it wasn't the cheap Pittsburgh one. It was whatever the middle brand is. And I think the set was like $30. And a full set of triple squares. And then I bought a set of Torx on sockets, which up north I think I have Snap-on. Down here, these were Pittsburgh. They work fine. They did their job. Would it be something to use every day in a shop? Maybe not. The triple squares, absolutely. And they're sort of shallow, so they don't. Me under the car on ramps, having a shallow socket kind of helped. But, that worked good. The Bauer Impact battery ratchet worked good. I bought a set of, or did I get them? No, I got them. They were Harbor Freight, you buy something and you get something free kind of thing if you spend X amount of dollars. And there was an Icon set, so their premium socket line, and it was 2 3/8 drive 10-millimeter sockets and 2 1/4-inch drive 10-millimeter sockets. And that was the gift. You could buy, you could get, a set of chamois or a ratchet strap or I don't know, tarp. And I'm like, 10-millimeter sockets, that's the one everyone always loses. Having a couple extra one, nice to have. Just for fun, I priced out the 10-millimeter 3/8 drive deep socket, and it was on one of the tool truck stores online. One socket was $28 for a 3/8 deep socket. This was a set of 4 for $10. And it was kind of the same deal with the triple squares. I stopped at a independent tool truck. There's a garage right at the end of my street. And I saw the guy there, went in and said, hey, I'm looking for, this size triple square. And he said to me, oh, yeah, it's like $22. I'm like, you can buy a whole set for $30. So, again, not a Harbor Freight commercial. But so far, the Harbor Freight stuff has fit all the needs I needed to. So if you're looking for regular tools to do your job, whether they're, whether you're listening as somebody who works in a shop or owns a shop, and the Icon brand, I don't know. People have told me they've been really happy with the Icon brand, and even the lower brands down, and all this stuff has a lifetime guarantee. My neighbor, who's never been to a Harbor Freight store, owns a business that they have a Snap-on account. He has a Snap-on account, and his business partner has a Snap-on account. But they're out in the middle of nowhere. And I said, you could probably, get something similar for a lot less money. He goes, yeah, the difference is the tool truck comes here every week, and when I break something, I just leave it there, and they leave me a new one. So it makes it nice and easy. Said the convenience of that is worth for me driving to Portland or wherever he lives up in Maine to go get it. So there you go. I have somebody who complained, sort of. He says, I just read your column. So this might have been in the Quincy Sun, because my column, Bob Wadsworth does run my column in the Quincy Sun once a month or so, or maybe he read it on Boston.com, I don't know where. And he says, I agree with, he said, your explanation about jump starting, I agree with the process if the vehicles are old school, but I fear today's new cars with all the computers, that method could not be the best approach. Wouldn't you agree? The starting surge, just, to my understanding, could cause damage to electronics. I would have preferred your response was first check the owner's manual, if possible, to avoid possible damage. Good point. The vehicle owner's manuals do contain a wealth of information. I often joke the owner's manual is the least read book ever published, usually the best looking item in a junkyard. You're correct. That probably should have led with check the owner's manual rather than ending with it. Modern vehicles have sensitive electronics, and following manufacturers' specific procedures is always the safest approach. Still, vehicle electronics can be damaged from reverse polarity, poor or wrong connection points, or voltage spikes from improper equipment. So you need to be careful. Someone else said, I just received my National Oil and Lube News trade magazine. Didn't know there was such a thing. There was a flyer advertising an AC oil additive called Cool Car. It stated it will bring the air conditioner temperature down by 12 degrees. Is this snake oil or a legitimate product? I don't know. I've never heard of it, but I've seen similar additives marketed as, they call them thermoconductive lubricants. I don't even know what that means. I had to look it up. It was like a made-up name. But I guess it's, you put the pieces together, it conducts cold better. They're not refrigerants or sealers. They're designed to improve heat transfer. In theory, they could offer some marginal benefit. I would say minor at best. That said, I wouldn't rely on an additive to fix or significantly improve AC performance. If you're in your car and the AC is just not working as good as it used to be, I don't think adding this stuff is going to do anything. You're better off finding out why it doesn't work. Is it something like the condenser, the thing that sits in front of the radiator, is clogged and it's not allowing for air to pass through it and take away heat? Is it that the blend door that controls that warm to cool air that comes in the car, is it the blend door is not working right? It's better to diagnose and repair the root cause than try to depend on an enhancement product. I don't know why I use that word, but I did. Why don't we take a break? Our phone number is 781-837-4900. If you would like to get through, phone lines are open. You can get right through. You can talk to me. You can talk to Jesse. You can find out what's going on. And when we come back, we'll talk to Jesse about his 200th episode. We'll be right back.
Even car geeks and do-it-yourselfers rely on AAA to give them extra peace of mind on the road. AAA offers 24/7 roadside assistance, whether you're in your own vehicle, a friend's car, or even a rental. Combine that with great rates on insurance, hotel, gas, and dining savings, and discounts on 8,700 brands, and you're covered on and off the road. Get a special membership offer today at aaa.com/join. That's aaa.com/join.
Tune in to 95.9 WATD Monday nights at 9 p.m. to hear Massasoit Today, an hour dedicated to introducing you to the students, staff, and faculty of Massasoit Community College. Each show, you'll hear uplifting stories, discover the latest news, and learn more about the community that makes up Massasoit Community College. Monday nights at 9 p.m. on 95.9 WATD.
Honored with a Lifetime Achievement Award from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. He's John Paul, the Car Doctor, on 95.9 WATD.
And welcome back to the Car Doctor program. Remember, if you want to see about a discount of eyewear, Car Doctor 15, and we'll come up with the website in a little bit just to do that, since they're going to turn that on and let us know what's going on. This is a question I get way more often than you would think, and it's weird because phones have become so much part of our life that when we look at how our phone interacts with our vehicle, I'm starting to see way more phone problems than vehicle problems sometimes. And this person says, I have a 2018 Subaru Crosstrek I purchased in 2021, a certified pre-owned from a Subaru dealer. The car's been great, and I enjoy driving it. However, the Bluetooth connection with my cell phone now has a problem. It connects normally, but when I answer the phone, the person on the other end can't hear me. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? I can hear them and do receive the text. Is there a microphone somewhere that needs to be replaced? Any suggestions? What could be wrong? There is a microphone, but there's rarely a problem with that. The issue might be software related with the phone or the vehicle. The first thing I do is pair a different phone to the system. So if you have a Android, borrow an iPhone. If you have an iPhone, borrow an Android. To rule out it's a device-specific issue. Also, there's been some infotainment upgrades with Subaru, and that's worth checking to see if there's any, problems there. If you are, you're saying you're using it on Bluetooth, so that rules out any cable problems. One of the things I see with cable problems, with people that plug in a cable to connect to their car, is some of these and mostly iPhones, I guess, but some of the non-Apple products, although it says it's, iOS compatible, some of them just don't do the job. Now, Jesse, you were saying something about your podcast and like 2 million episodes or something. What's going on with that?
It feels like it. Yeah, but we have our official 200th episode coming up on Tuesday.
On Cinco de Mayo.
It is Cinco de Mayo. Yeah.
Is it got anything to, does it have anything to do with Cinco de Mayo?
No, Beverly, Massachusetts. Very close to Mexico, though.
It is. I've heard that. Yeah. So can you give us a hint? What's going on in Beverly, Mass?
It's an old case about a demonic possession. Something a little nice for Cinco de Mayo.
Well, it makes full sense. So, yeah. I see it. So,
these are just official episodes. We're approaching like 500 actual podcasts being uploaded, but like we sprinkle in little side content episodes in between and like movie reviews and stuff. But yeah, it's talking about the history of I believe it's Beverly, Massachusetts. I'm not actually doing the episode, but I will be there. It's a Rob episode, so he's covering the case. And, if people are unfamiliar with the show, it's very much a historical podcast. We give the history of the town and kind of dark things that have happened, the dark history of the towns and what has led to alleged hauntings in and around that exact place. And we cover a different place every week. That's Hometown Ghost Stories.
Hometown Ghost Stories.
That is right.
For people who, unlike me, are not members and follow you and stalk you on YouTube and other places.
Yeah, you should do more of that. You should do more stalking.
Oh, all right. I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah. Little advice with Jesse today. Do more stalking.
Do more stalking. I have some advice. Go to iking.com or, go to, or you could go to Hobie Eyewear and figure it all out. But Car Doctor 15, if you're looking for a discount.
I might have to use that discount.
Guys doing that.
How much is the discount?
50. I'm guessing it's 15%.
Oh, that sounds about right.
Yeah, since it's called Car Doctor 15. So, yeah. So we've actually had some, the people from Bling offered a discount. People from a car care company offered us a discount at one point for our listeners. We've had people be nice to us, so I like that. That's good when they do that, especially when they do that without being asked. Even better. I'm going to do one more quick question here, and this one is. Person has a 2015 Toyota Highlander. It runs great. The tire warning light is on all the time. They check the tire pressure with the gauge. They're happy. They've been advised it's probably one of the tire valve sensors that's the problem. Is there an easy, effective way to determine which one and which tire is located on? Yes and no. Yes, it is. You can take a proper scan tool. You can see which one is not reading properly. and then you can figure it out. But realistically, it's a 11-year-old car that is the sensors are probably at the end of their life. So what I would do, because I'm cheap and people know me as being frugal and all, labor to replace a sensor, it's going to take some time. Wait until you're getting new tires. So go out there with your tire gauge, check the tire pressure like you normally do once a month with a good gauge, and then when it's time to replace your tires, talk to your tire shop like Sullivan Tire and say, hey, look, I need to replace my tires, but also my tire pressure sensors are probably about dead. Can you put those in at the same time? You'll save some labor and save some money all at the same time. So there you go. Well, that music means Jesse's kicking me out like he does every Sunday. But I appreciate him letting me in.
My favorite
and
thing to
until
do.
next week, make sure you wear your seatbelt, drive safely, be good to your car, and if you do see an emergency vehicle by the side of the road, slow down or move over. It saves lives. Talk to you all next week. Bye-bye.